layouts last time. Okay, today we will just have a quick go through once again, because इसके आगे जो हम topic कर रहे हैं that is also going to be about layout and information designing, and धीरे से हम फिर उसके बाद visual designing पे भी जाएंगे. तो आज हम जो करने वाले हैं वो layout के बारे में. तो इसीलिए I want to just touch upon the layout section once again, what we did in layout standardization. So in technical writing, layout is about how information is presented on your document, right? And what it includes, all the heading levels, order of sections, spacing, use of lists versus paragraphs, कहाँ पे क्या चीज़ use करनी है, placement of your notes, warning, tips, what kind of information goes at what kind of location, all right? You have the table formatting, how to format your tables, what kind of formatting like bold, italics and code blocks are to be used, and sometimes colors as well, headers and all these things. So all this is part of your layout. Okay, we learnt about the layout standardization. How does it help? It controls how content is scanned, how predictable documents feel, and how easy it is to navigate. It becomes easier because you are following a certain format, a certain layout in your documentation, right? Coming back to visuals. Now, visuals here we are referring to all non-text elements. That is your screenshots, your UI captures, diagrams, icons, callouts and annotations, everything around that. Okay, so all these things, what are the elements that you are adding? Only visually. They will not have much text, will be very limited. And how are we placing, and what is visual content consistency is all about, that we will talk about today. So for example, when you are taking the screenshot is a very common thing in especially software documentation. You'll take screenshots of your software. If it is a UI based thing, you'll take screenshots of your tool that you are using, maybe sometimes even the code, how you're doing it and what is the output and all these things. Okay, so when you're taking screenshots, how you are taking it? Are you taking full screen screenshots? Are you taking some portion of your screenshots, like some portion of your window? Which theme are you using while using it? Okay, so अगर आप आजकल हर एक whatever softwares you have, even in Visual Studio, VS Code, everywhere you can select the theme, right? There can be a black theme, there can be a light dark theme, or light theme, or any theme. You will keep it fixed for one document. Like if you are using dark, if you have chosen to share dark mode, then you will keep the dark mode. If you have chosen to use the light mode, then it will be light mode in all of the visuals, all of the screenshots. Resolution and clarity. In fact, when we used to do it, I'm not sure whether it is there now or not, but there was even some screen settings in Windows. You have to go and create your settings, the resolution of your system, the resolution of your screen, and on those that clear resolution you have to take the images, and all these things are also kept in mind while taking the resolution, so that the images that are taken are clear. Same OS or device across screenshots. So agar aapki application, if you have an application that is there on Windows as well as on iOS, you cannot कुछ images Windows का डाल दिया and कुछ iOS का डाल दिया, ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. So you'll keep on using the same images, same device, same operating system across all the screenshots. Your zoom level and focus, again it is more of whether you're doing full screen and cropped. It will also depend on the kind of thing that you want to highlight through your feature that we are talking about. So it will depend upon that as well. Now coming back down to the annotations. If you are labeling your screenshots, if you're using any kind of text, if you're using any kind of highlighting in your screenshots, arrows, numbering, all these things will have a particular style. Okay, and that style will continue over with all the different screenshots. Sorry. All right, all of them. Same terminology inside the screenshots as you have used in the text. So you cannot defy from, vary from the text. Whatever terms you're using in the text, the same terminology will be used inside your screenshots. And if you're using any kind of UI based applications, if you're explaining that, then whatever is used in UI, you will use in your text. So there has to be synchronization. Similarly, naming and labeling conventions. If you are naming your images or screenshots या फिर label कर रहे हो तो उसके लिए भी same kind of font size, font colors, all those things will also remain same. Okay, what kind of labels you're using, what color you're using, what fonts you're using, all those things will also remain there. Avoid outdated UI images. That's of course visual consistency. You have to keep on updating your images as your application develops. So sometimes there will be changes in your user interface of the application. There will be things that have changed in the tool. Maybe अगर आप Visual Studio का code दिखा रहे हो या फिर आप and the Visual Studio you have been using an old version and now the updated version is out, then you will use the latest tool and windows. And to avoid retaking the screenshots, we usually try to eliminate the context. तो हम कई बार अगर आपको कोड दिखाना है तो आप सिर्फ कोड का स्क्रीनशॉट लोगे instead of taking the whole window, because it will look like अगर after some time it will become old. It will look outdated because new versions of controls and softwares keep on coming. All right, and you'll have to go and update it again. So कई बार हम सिर्फ इसी के लिए, if not necessary, we will eliminate the context from there. We will remove the context and we'll just keep the thing that requires to be shared with the user. Okay, so because updating the screenshots and updating the UI images is a big task, a very big task, when especially you have lot of documentations, old and new and everything. Keeping them updated is becomes a huge task over the period of time. So it is always important that you take the images with this thought in mind that tomorrow this particular thing might change, but also keep in mind that what needs to be shown has to be shown. If you have to update later, then you have to update later, but ऐसा ना हो कि कोई ज़रूरी part आप miss out कर दो. That don't do. Right? Why visual standardization is needed? Inconsistent visuals can confuse users because they might think my screen is, why is it different here and why is it different there? Why is it different from my screen? All those kind of confusions can occur. It reduces trust, it increases support tickets. Natural सी बात है, user confused होगा तो वो questions ज़्यादा पूछेगा. Consistent visuals will build confidence, they'll reduce the reading effort, increase the understandability of the thing. User will be able to focus on the right areas instead of making out why this visual looks like this. Okay, and your visuals should actually make your instructions easier to follow rather than creating another confusing element. Okay, so that's why the visual standardization is a very important part. How to manage visual consistency? You'll have clear guidelines. जैसे हमारी style guides होती हैं उसी तरीके से you can have your visual style guide, like what kind of visuals are we going to use, what kind of fonts, and what kind of fonts name, what which font size, which font color are we going to use. All these settings can be actually stored. What kind of highlighting we are going to are we going to highlight it with a circle, or are we going to highlight it with a rectangle, any kind of, if any highlighting is required in your screenshots. So what kind of highlighting are we going to use, what kind of labeling are we going to use. Okay, all these things will can be covered in your those guidelines. uh, then consistent settings, those settings should be also predefined, mentioned कि आपको अपने सिस्टम का रेजोल्यूशन क्या रखना है, अपनी एप्लीकेशन का सेटिंग क्या रखना है. All these things you will keep a record of. And careful onboarding process, when somebody new is going to take this take over the same job, you will share those guidelines and those settings so that the person is also aware and visuals do not come out to be different from rest of the document. So these are the ways how to manage visual consistency. So basically all the visuals should look like as if they are explaining the same product and they were taken at the same time by the same person. So that's how consistent your visuals should look like. Okay, so this is about visual consistency. If there is any doubt here, you can ask in the visuals standardization. मैंने जो पॉइंट्स बताए वो समझ में आए, लेबलिंग में, स्क्रीनशॉट्स में किस तरीके का डिफरेंस आता है वो मालूम पड़ा?
Yes.
Yes. Alright. In case if there is any doubt, you can ask. Else we will start with the new part. Module 7, Visual Design and Information Design. Okay. I have skipped a few 5 and 6 module in between because it was coming in a flow. I have picked up visual design and information design first, and we'll be going back to clarity and concise content and other few other concepts later on. Okay, I wanted to give it a break because it's been long that we were focusing on the just the content part when we created the topic structures and everything. So currently we will focus a little bit on the visual design and the information design part, and then we will go back to content part. Okay. All right. So here we will first learn about principles of typography and layout. What is typography? What is layout? Layout तो हमने अभी किया. Uh, so can anybody explain what is typography? What is layout? Any idea? Wrong answer is also okay. It's okay. Whatever you understand.
I think typography is about looking for a consistent font size,
Hmm.
gap between the spaces, the
Yeah.
way you write everything there.
Yes, yes. So typography is more about fonts, font size, font colors, and all these things. Layout will cover the spacing and what kind of format you're going to use. So where how much spacing is going to be there in the words, in the paragraph, in the lines, all these things will, or maybe in the sections as well. So all these things will be part of the layout. Okay. Alright, so typography refers to how text appears in the documentation. fonts, font sizes, step spacing, text styles that make content readable and easy for eyes. Layout, it refers to how the information is arranged on the page, alignment, spacing, section order, आपकी bullets, bullet points, which bullets are you using, how are you using, all that visual structure that will help your user um, make sense out of the whole structure that you have created, the content that you have created. Okay, so that is about the layout. And typography and layout together means user can read your content comfortably, information is easy to scan, important details stand out because you will be using maybe bold or any other formatting that is appropriate to your type of technical writing. Usually we use bold. So important details you will make them stand out, or maybe use notes and warnings wherever required, and they will have a different formatting. Documentation feels consistent and professional. So when typography and layout come together and they are consistent, it makes all these things possible for your document. What are the key principles of typography and layout? First is readability. You have to, your content has to be, your information has to be readable. Okay, make your text easy to read. Now, making your text easy to read has two aspects. One is the visual aspect, and the other aspect is the real readability, like what kind of sentences are you using, what kind of language you're using, the language aspect. Okay, so one readability comes from just by looking at something, whether visually is it readable or not, the font is correct or not, font size is correct or not, and all those things. So that kind of readability comes under layout and typography, while the other one is separate but is also important, because when reader starts to read the language, whether the sentence is readable or not, that will come under your more like clarity and conciseness वाला part जो आता है हमारा उसमें, right? Second part is alignment. Alignment of your content. What comes first? What comes next? How is it placed? What is the kind of spacing? What is the order? All these things. Of course, the spacing. Give space just enough. बहुत it should not be very tight, and it should not be very far away as well. For example, अगर बहुत पास रखोगे, readability again it will lose the readability, it will make it congested, and user would not want to read it. And if you um, expand it too much, it will break the flow if the spacing is more. And these are some of the principles, like how to follow the readability. Use simple and clean fonts, especially in technical writing. In fact, any kind of content that is getting posted and is meant to be read by a lot of people. Normally, if you will see, books are never written in any kind of fancy fonts. They are always the standard fonts, right? To make the readability better, so that users can understand better. So some of the fonts are more common than the others. For example, we use Arial usually, or maybe Calibri. These are some of the professional fonts that are used in documents usually, but you can use other clear fonts as well, but keep it consistent throughout the document. Whatever you Times New Roman, all these things are usually used, but again, it depends what your organization have been using, and keep it consistent, and so that two documents do not look like coming from different people, different product. They feel like same. Okay. Next is maintain sufficient font size. Keep consistent font usage. In fact, even when you're setting the headlines, sometimes we tend to give them different fonts than the main text. There also, it is suggested that you use a font from the same font family. So there are font families uh, where you can actually define, for example, Arial bold is also there, Arial normal will also be there, Arial thoda ऐसे इस तरीके से, and you have multiple fonts also sometimes with different names as well. So all these will depend, and it is better that you use a single family of fonts and keep your font usage consistent. Avoid long line lengths and avoid walls of text like बहुत long sentences. Again, it's the language part of readability, and avoid walls of text. For example, if you there is a lot of big text coming in, it will reduce the readability of the content, and user will most likely skip things. Instead, just introduce any kind of list or a table or a visual to break it, or at least start a new paragraph. You cannot keep on writing about a single thing in maybe 10 or 12 sentences and do not break the paragraph also. At least break the paragraph so that your readability maintains. Okay. uh, Talk about only one idea. This we will learn in when we do the content as well, that one idea, one paragraph. Like, you will not talk about different things. As soon as you're switching on to a new idea, you will change the um, paragraph. Okay, you will create a new paragraph. So that is how we'll take care. Okay. All right. Now next is alignment and spacing. Alignment, usually you will see that left aligned text is easiest to read. So we do not create, there are multiple formats that are offered in Word documents or any other tools that you're working on. But we always keep our alignment left aligned. So in most of the cases, it will be left aligned only. Consistent alignment is soothing, easy to read. Misalignment creates a lot of noise. Space separates ideas. For example, I was saying create a new paragraph if you have to share a new idea, or maybe create a bullet list if it is a list of things, or if these are steps you will do the numbers, numbering, ordered list. If there is too little space, it will become cluttered, difficult to read, and if there is too much space, the flow will break. So that's why it's really important to maintain the alignment and spacing around your text. Apart from this, you will also have some corporate branding guidelines. When you are writing for a product and they are using a particular style on a website, on their in their blogs, in their so there are certain things that they have been following. So the same things will be followed by the documentation as well, because the documentation is also the a part of product experience. It is not different from the product. So your brand, your company will have some guidelines. Your marketing team can share that. If they have not shared, you can ask them that what kind of things we should be using to align our documentation with the brand. All right. So the fonts approved by your company, whether to use logo or whether not to use logo, all these things, what kind of colors to use for texts are usually kept in black. Okay. But if at all it is something else that you want to showcase, your product is something different, maybe in some cases, or for notes and warnings, what kind of colors you're going to use, what is the tone that we are using for the product. Okay. How do we want to picture ourselves in front of, portray ourselves in front of our users. So what kind of tone should we be using? What kind of you know language we should be using? All these things will certainly drive from the brand alignment as well. Okay, what kind of product you're selling in the market, उसके ऊपर भी depend करेगा, and how you're selling, how you're positioning yourself, the business is positioning their product in the market, उसके ऊपर भी depend करेगा. All right. If you are targeting something related to maybe kids, the fonts will be a little different. If you are targeting software developers, the fonts will be different. If you're targeting an older audience, someone who is from um, a little senior, maybe beyond 50s, their 50s. If you're targeting a product from that perspective, the fonts and sizes and the layouts will be a little different. Okay, so it works like that. Any questions so far? No.
No.
All right.
Mm.
No, no.
Okay. What are the common mistakes to avoid? Did I have an exercise? अच्छा इसके बाद है. Okay. What are the common mistakes to avoid? अभी हमने जो rules किए उसके हिसाब से can you come up with some of the things that we should be avoiding?
Not aligning our content,
Center.
using different brand voice and brand color,
Hmm.
and there is no logo usage inside the document, and there is no consistency between what's written previously and what's written now.
Hmm. So you have to keep a match, like you have to
Yeah.
follow
And
certain
whatever
guidelines.
terminology we are using, it should be this the like correctly used even in the UI text,
Hmm.
and the picture we are the image we are displaying.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
How we are placing the images and where are we trying to place the images also. That will come in your templates and structure part. So that was also kind of standardization that we were trying to do. यहाँ पर भी we are creating layout and information design so that there is a certain level of consistency, standardization in your content. So using too many fonts is a no. Center aligning long texts, inconsistent heading styles, all that we have discussed, that left align is always a better option for paragraphs, and long texts should not be taken. Like you break it into different ideas, different paragraphs. Inconsistent heading styles, spacing, copying layouts from random websites. Sometimes we take content from somewhere, or we copy layout from some random website. Ki, haan, this is looking nice, let me follow this. But no, you will be working as per your brand and as per your standards and guidelines that you have set for your document. Manually formatting instead of using styles. अब आपके वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट में और आपके दूसरे टूल्स में भी you can define styles and you can use those styles. In fact, in your help authoring tools also you can define classes themselves. Like in those classes you define what font size, what formatting are you going to use, and you just simply apply that class and all those settings will be applied automatically. So instead of using these kind of systems, if you follow one by one, manually setting every font type, font size, and all these things, font colors, it will be very difficult. So instead of that, use styles if you are working in a word document, or even if you are working in any kind of help authoring tools also, then also. Okay, So this is a typography and layout checklist. Just all right. I'll be sharing this with you. My group में ही share कर दूँगी so that Keki also gets it, and you can use it. You can put it in a I will put in WhatsApp later on. Maybe one of you can mind it because अभी हम screen recording पे हैं तो I'm not opening my WhatsApp. But I'm posting it here. You can save it for yourself, and one of you can post it in the WhatsApp group as well if you are connecting from phone. So this is a template that you can use for in a checklist kind of design. Like you can put it in a Excel file, and whenever you're publishing a document, you can check whether you have followed these all these pointers or not. Fonts are simple and readable or not, font size are consistent or not, line length is comfortable or not, text consistency consistently left aligned, headings, no random centering, space between sections, lesson paragraphs separated properly, pages do not feel cramped, like they're not too filled or they're too messy. Styles and templates are used. Styles and templates, some of the styles we were talking about, font styles could be there, templates could be there that we have already learned in topic structure and everything. That also you can keep here. Headings follow hierarchy or not, like H1, H2, H3. They are, must be some styling for all of them, and they should must follow that. Content aligns consistently. Brand alignment. Your fonts match your brand guidelines or not. Your colors follow the standards or not. The screenshots follow the standards or not. Or layout matches the other product documentation or not. So these are some of the areas that you should be checking before publishing your document or even before sharing it with everyone. Okay. All right. Abhi, so today we'll keep our session short. अभी इसमें हमारे पास we'll see the bad example, good example, and after this activity time, I think our call might end by that time. We will join again and we'll discuss a few things. We'll do the editing exercise when we join back. But we'll keep this session this much so that when Kiki also joins, we have we'll do it later. Okay. So bad formatting, good formatting. This is an AI generated image, not a perfect example, I would say, but still it will give you an idea like what a bad formatting and good formatting looks like. So if you're creating a lot of wall of text and everything, so instead of writing steps in paragraph, you can divide it and make a list that will be more readable. Different fonts, instead of using that, you can simply use same set of fonts. You can divide it with the table, make it clean and easy to read. That's the purpose. But do not break the flow. Do not make elements that are not making sense. That do not use those elements that are not making sense at that time. Okay. And after this, we have an activity where we will be doing now. We will be improving the document layout just now in the session. So you will go and work on this and join the other meeting. I'm sharing this link as well in the group chat, and please pick it up, open the document, see if you can edit it or not. So not do not edit the document itself. Copy paste the content in your document and share that. Okay, and we join back after in the next meeting in the other link. All right, so I'll just close this one and you can join that link. All right, and also check whether you're able to access these two documents or not.